Will Microvision stock be delisted from the NASDAQ? Microvision has dropped below $1 for the first time since I started buying it in 2019. Generally, I've maintained that the actual stock price of MVIS doesn't matter that much until they start making deals. The price action for the last few years has been a result of purely speculation for an impending deal that has so far evaded my favorite modern laser beam company. But today's price is different. On Friday, they closed under $1. And one of the rules for trading stock on the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange is to maintain a price above $1. This is a metaphorical big blinking red light, but it actually takes a bit before all these things kick in. Here are the rules. If Microvision stock remains under $1 for 30 consecutive days, they will be considered out of compliance. The good news is that once a company's not in compliance, they have a 180-day window for the price of the stock to raise back above $1 for 10 consecutive days. And that's 180 calendar days. And even then, at the end of those 180 days, as long as the stock has $2.5 million of shareholder equity, they do, and $1 million of market value, they do, they will be eligible for a second 180-day period before being delisted from the markets. So, we're looking at an entire year from last Friday, June the 14th, before Microvision is under threat of being delisted from the markets. And this concludes the purely educational and fact-based portion of today's video. On to my biased speculation. There is no denying that Microvision clearly stated what they expected for a timeline for a deal and then missed, completely missed. Not only did they not make a deal, but in the last earnings call, and I actually have a suspicion that Sumit meant a slightly different thing than how it came out. If there's one thing I learned in 6 years of engineering school, it's that engineers aren't overwhelmingly good at communicating with non-engineers, which is why I feel that my small role in this story might actually be somewhat meaningful sometimes. Sumit said some things that made it sound like the company is going to be essentially worthless until towards the end of the decade. And what I think he meant is that the big revenues won't actually start to snowball until more like 2027, 2028, 2030. But what he didn't say, and what I actually think would have been irresponsible for him to have said anyways, is that the market doesn't care about actual profitability, it cares about the promise of profitability. The promise. This is the promise. And the velocity of that trajectory. Which is why, when their proposed trajectory shifted from up and to the right to rain delay, the market dumped. But in reality, the trajectory hasn't changed. The money has always been in 2027 and beyond for this first deal. But the deal itself is the promise and the comfort that we all need to feel comfortable in that money actually coming in. No deal, no confidence in the future. In reality, there were 9 automotive deals on the table. Presumably, now there are less than 9. But no one has said anything about all of them falling through or being significantly delayed. So the way I see it, Sumit and the boys have 30 days plus 180 days plus 180 days to close their first significant consumer LiDAR deal. There's still money in the bank, and I'm confident in these smaller forklift and farm equipment deals to push the runway out long enough to get the fucking carburetor unclogged and get this spruce goose into the air. TLDR, all hope is not lost. We've already seen where this stock goes when people think there's a deal, which means 95 cents is a really good price if you've got some spare money that you're not afraid to lose. You just might lose it. Also, I have officially reached middle-aged and hence have to wear glasses in order to see far. Isn't that fun?